Hey everyone, welcome back to the Japanese from Japan podcast. I'm Keiko, and honestly, I've been looking forward to this one all week. So if you're new here, every week I dig through the most read stories on our site and pull out the Japanese that's actually worth learning. Real news, real vocab, no textbook fluff. It's Sunday, March 22nd, 2026, and we've got 3 stories today. We're talking about a wild new avatar calling app, the return of a drama I personally love, and a musical adaptation that's turning heads. Let's get into it. Our first story is about a new app called POPOPO, and honestly, this one really caught my attention. It launched in Japan on March 18th as a smartphone-only service where you make voice calls through 3D avatars instead of showing your real face on camera. That alone already feels very current, but the extra twist is even more dramatic. The app can generate cinematic scenes automatically based on your conversation. So imagine 2 or more avatars talking, and the app turns that into something that feels like a movie scene with polished camera work. Up to 30 people can join one call, and users can also live stream those avatar conversations. I actually find this fascinating because it blends social media, performance, and identity in a very Japanese way. Japan has long been comfortable with digital personas, from anime icons to virtual creators, so an avatar-first communication app doesn't feel random here at all. There are also 400 avatars available at launch, with more planned from famous franchises like Shinseki Evangelion, meaning Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Toho Projekuto, meaning Toho Project. That matters because collaborations with major character brands or intellectual properties are a huge growth engine in Japanese entertainment tech. If users can become characters they already love, that creates instant emotional attachment. And yes, there is a giant campaign attached to the launch. One randomly selected user can win 100 million yen if they make a call lasting at least 1 minute during the campaign period. Can you believe that? It's such an attention-grabbing way to get people to try the service. Also notable is the leadership team, which includes well-known names like Kawakami, Ano Hideaki, Gakt, and Hiroyuki. This is not a tiny experimental app. Japan is treating it like a serious media event. Our second story is much quieter in tone, but maybe even more emotional. Shinya Shiokuro, meaning Midnight Diner, is returning to Japanese TV for the first time in 7 years. A new series will air in fall 2026, and filming is already underway. Best of all, for longtime fans, Kaoru Kobayashi is returning as the master. If you haven't seen this drama, it's centered on a tiny diner open from midnight until dawn. Customers come in with worries, memories, regrets, and little joys. And the show lets those human stories unfold through simple meals and quiet conversation. I love that premise so much. It feels deeply Japanese to me. Understated, observant, and emotionally powerful without trying too hard. The article highlighted a few great expressions from the announcement. One was, 再開が嬉しくないわけがありません, meaning there is no way I'm not happy about the restart. That's such a natural Japanese way to express strong positive feeling indirectly. What makes this return significant is how beloved the series has become over time. It began in 2009, ran for 5 seasons, got 2 films, and was even remade in China and South Korea. That tells you this is more than just a domestic cult favorite. It's one of those Japanese stories that travels well because the emotions are universal. Food, loneliness, routine, kindness, late-night conversation, those themes work anywhere. Our third story takes us to the theater world. The musical Jekyll Hyde, meaning Jekyll and Hyde, opened a new Japanese production in Tokyo on March 15th. It stars Hayato Kakisawa and Takayuki Sato, and this version has refreshed direction and updated script work, so it isn't just a repeat of the previous staging. One thing I always enjoy about Japanese theater news is how formal and passionate the language is. The actors talked about respecting what earlier performers built while also creating something new. One key phrase was hikitsugu, meaning to inherit or take over. Kakizawa said he wants to honor the legacy passed down from senior performers while building an energetic new company. That's such a beautiful idea in Japanese performing arts. Innovation through respect, not through rejection. Another great expression from the article was Saigo made kakenukemasu, meaning I will run through to the end. You hear this kind of determined language a lot in Japanese around performances, sports, and exams. It has this feeling of giving everything you have. The rehearsal process was described with shikusakugo, meaning trial and error, which is a very useful phrase far beyond theater. The production will run in Tokyo and then tour Osaka, Fukuoka, Aichi, and Yamagata. That touring pattern is very typical in Japan. Unlike Broadway or the West End, where a show may stay in one theater for a long time, major productions in Japan often move city to city. So this article isn't just about one opening night, it shows how live performance culture works across the country. Now let's drill into the Midnight Diner story and learn some Japanese from it. I picked this one because the vocabulary is rich, emotional, and genuinely useful. It's also less packed with English loanwords than the tech article, which makes it great for learners. First word, zokutou. This means continuing in the same role. In the article, it describes Kaoru Kobayashi returning as the master. Example sentence, Kare wa dorama de onaji yaku o zokutou shimasu. That means he continues in the same role in the drama. Second word, satsueichuu. This means currently filming. You'll often see this in entertainment news. Example sentence, Atarashi eiga wa ima satsueichuu desu. That means the new movie is filming now. Third word, machinozomu. This means to eagerly await. I really like this one because it sounds a little more emotional than a basic verb like waiting. Example sentence, Fuan wa shin shirizu o machinozonde imasu. That means fans are eagerly awaiting the new series. Fourth word, orinasu. This literally means to weave together, and it's often used for stories, lives, or events, forming a larger whole. Example sentence, Iroiro na hito no monogatari ga orinasaremasu. That means various people's stories are woven together. Fifth word, ureshi sugiru. This means too happy or overwhelmingly happy. It's casual and very expressive. Example sentence, Sono nyusu o kite ureshi sugimasu. That means hearing that news makes me too happy. For grammar, let's look at ni mukete, meaning toward or in preparation for. The structure is noun plus ni mukete. It shows direction, goal, or preparation. This is one of my favorite useful news expressions because you can use it for exams, events, trips, and projects. Example 1, Shiken ni mukete benkyou shimasu. I study for the exam. Example 2, Akeai no housou ni mukete satsuei shite imasu. They are filming toward the fall broadcast. Example 3, 大会に向けて練習しています. We are practicing for the tournament. Notice that に向けて often carries a sense of purposeful preparation, not just movement in a physical direction. So when you see it in articles, it usually signals that something is actively being done now for a future goal. Now, let's practice some listening. Here's a recap of today's 3 stories in very simple Japanese. Don't worry if you don't catch everything. Just try to pick out words you recognize. 1つ目のニュースです。ポポポというアプリが日本で始まりました。人は顔を見せないでアバターで話します。期間中に1分以上電話すると9時に入れます。2つ目のニュースです。深夜食動画7年ぶりに戻ってきます。今年の秋にテレビで始まる予定です。マスター役の小林薫も出ます。3つ目のニュースです。ジキル&ハイドの ミュージカルが東京で始まりました。新しい演出とキャストで上演しています。3月の終わりまで東京で、その後他の街に行きます。Great job listening! Even if you only caught a few words, that's real progress. So today, we looked at 3 very different windows into Japan. Avatar-based social tech, the return of a deeply loved TV drama, and a major musical opening. In our deep dive, we focused on the Midnight Diner article and learned vocabulary like zokutou, continuing in the same role, satsueichuu, currently filming machinozomu, to eagerly await orinasu, to weave together, and ureshi sugiru, to happy. We also practiced the grammar pattern ni mukete, meaning toward or in preparation for. If you can start noticing that pattern in articles, you'll suddenly understand a lot more about plans, goals, and works in progress. That's one reason I love learning through news. Real Japanese repeats useful patterns again and again. If you want more Japanese news and lessons, head to JapaneseFromJapan.com. And if you're studying for the JLPT exam, check out jlptpracticetest.com for practice tests. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. また来週。これからもよろしくお願いします。